I'm Renee Knorr, model, creative director, founder of Global Women Wealth Warriors, Wellness Hub, and GW3 Magazine. I dedicated my life and devoted my career into helping women and girls to achieving their goals. I've been passionate about empowering women and enriching men. This opportunity in working with the Global Women Wealth Warriors have afforded me the pleasure of traveling outside of the country to be a support unit, most importantly, to help impact and change lives. Our ultimate purpose is to help others to become whole from finance, spiritual, mental, as well as physical. We know there are challenges and obstacles to get you to the next level. However, it's time for you to level up, boss up, and welcome to Power to Soar.
Well, we want to say hello to you, yes, and especially you, and welcome you to Voices, the talk show, where we bring the conversations from the clubhouse into your house. This is produced by, curated by, and invented by none other than Renee Knorr. She is the founder and the curator of the GW3 Global Club and the Global Women Wealth Warriors Club on Clubhouse. Our members are passionate about positively impacting the lives of women and girls while also enriching men to reach an abundance lifestyle, a lifestyle gained through financial literacy, learning new currency, maintaining healthy eating for wellness. Renee is a global keynote speaker, an award-winning international Ebony Fashion Fair model, a marathon runner, an award-winning golfer, along with too many other awards and accomplishments for me to mention during the space of this show. So now, go ahead, put your hands together, clap those mics and put emojis up on Clubhouse for the beautiful one, the legend, the intelligent mentor to men and women, just to mention a few, the woman herself, none other than my friend, the queen, Renee Knorr. Hey, Renee.
Hi, Pastor Jeff. Thanks so very much for that warm introduction. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am absolutely super fantastic. If I was doing any better, I'd be in the heavens with the angels. And I'm excited about today, Renee.
I know you are. I can tell you look so amazingly great as well. You know, not only is today a special day, you know, I'm grateful that we're here to do an exclusive with such a giant man. And I call him a giant man because he has truly been remarkable in each and every last one of our lives, especially because with voices, we take those voices right from the clubhouse and we bring it right into the houses of everyone, you know, worldwide. The man himself, I'm speaking of Glenn Lundy. This exclusive interview, Jeff, it's long overdue. Let's just say it's long overdue. And I'm so excited to have him with us. But one of the things I want to do before we bring up Glenn, I think it's so important for all of our viewers to get a better idea as well as a picture of who this man is. You know, of course, we know who he is because he makes us wake up every morning at 5 a.m., right? And
before 5 a.m. If you wake up at 5 a.m., you're late, Renee.
I know, right? You're right. I get up at 4:55. You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. But you know what? He has done something that has impacted our lives. And because of him, we are now new humans. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, before we bring up Glenn Lundy, I would love for us to show this amazing clip of the man himself who's impacted millions of lives. Glenn Lundy.
Let it roll.
I remember just kind of laying behind the trees, behind the bushes, just kind of laying in these areas, hoping to not be seen. But even when people would see me, they'd see right through me. And things just got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. This is where I came. I just decided, man, I was going to swim out. This felt so much easier, you know? ocean water just pushing me back in. But I ended up just laying on the beach and looking up, man. And from here, when you look up at night, the sky is just filled with stars. And I just remember looking up and seeing the stars and just realizing how strong and powerful God is and how small my problems were.
This is me.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Dan Cummins Chevrolet and Buick in Paris, Kentucky.
Family, without further ado, the man, I would say, of the father of 8 children, the husband to one, 20 years in the automobile industry, the man himself who has brought all of us together from the Breakfast with Champions alongside with the Rise and Grind, the man himself. Go ahead on, Pastor Jeff.
Absolutely. And here's Glenn Lundy. I've been waiting to say that for 2 years.
Y'all are amazing. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much.
You are so welcome. No, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, and just thank you for being the man that you are. You truly are an anointing man. I know you have to feel that, Glenn. You know, when I look at you, you're such an old soul. You're such an old soul. And I mean, I'll say this. For those who do not know, I am always a person that usually keeps my composure, right? But when we met in New York City for the very first time, oh my goodness, I had butterflies in my stomach and I literally lost my voice. And it was just so remarkable. You know why? Because I'll say this, millions, and I say that millions because you have impacted millions. We've needed someone like you. And God has blessed us to have you in our life. So thank you, Glenn. Thank you for everything that you do, not only with the Breakfast with Champions, the Rise and Grind, with your 800% club, but also what you do for your family. You truly are a gem. Thank you.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. Super, super, super kind of you. And when I look at you, I'm like, I wonder how many lives she was the queen. I wonder how many countries she's been the queen of over the thousands of years that Renee Knorr's energy and existence has been in play, because you are something special, no doubt about it. So thank you for those kind words.
Well, thank you so very much. You know, one of the things I want to know, because this is something that's so true. You know, you have this energy every day. I want to ask you this question because that motivation that you have us to wake up to, I want to know, how do you keep on just staying so true to, you know, not only the momentum, but I know it has to take so much out of you, because what people don't see you behind closed doors, right? And they just don't absolutely know what you have to go through. So what really motivates you, Glenn Lundy?
Well, you know, part of my secret is, you know, the daily morning show is at 5:30 a.m. My daily morning show is at 5:30 a.m. And a lot of people are like, man, he's got a lot of energy at 5:30 a.m. But what they don't know is I've already been up for 2 hours and 10 minutes at that point, because I can get up at 3:20 a.m. So if I get up at 3:20, you get up at 5:20, you know, I'm going to have 2 hours. I got a 2-hour head start on you. So that is a part of it, is there, you know, a little secret there. But I think the real component of it is I remember what my life was like when I felt invisible and I felt I did not have worth. I did not have value. I remember what life was like, not understanding the spiritual element of who we are. And so through living that, now I am excited every time the sun comes up. I am, and I'm not behind, I'm not in a jail cell. I am excited every time I get to jump into a Breakfast with Champions room or jump on a show and I get to actually say good morning to hundreds, if not thousands of people, and they can see me and they can hear me. And I remember that season where no one saw me and no one heard me. And so it's just out of gratitude, it's like, this is awesome. This is so stinking cool that I get to get up early and spend time with amazing humans from all over the world. I'm so thankful to be alive in 2022, right? If I'd have been born at a different time or a different season, I wouldn't have this opportunity. And so gratitude is my biggest motivating factor. It reminds me where I was and makes me grateful for where I am. Not just grateful, but excited to be where I am.
That's wonderful, Glenn. When we look at you and with all of your accomplishments and also just your humility, being the father that you are, as well as the leader that you are, talk to us about the importance of having mentors and the right people to have your back. Please talk to us about that.
Oh yeah, we are better as humans when we have a gradient of perspective, right? And so a linear perspective or a siloed perspective can only get us so far. We need people that can see, from the outside. I remember listening to I was listening to somebody. My mind's kind of drawing a blank in a second, but I was listening to somebody, and he was saying, he was up on a stage, and he said, right now I can see you, right? Like right now, Renee, I can see Renee, and I can see Jeff. And, if I was on a stage, I could see the audience, I could see the lights, I could see. Oh, it was TD Jakes actually. I could see all of these things, but I can't see myself, right? I need outside perspective to be able to see myself. And so mentors, the right mentors are that. They're the ones that will see you outside of yourself and show you in a kind way the areas of growth, development, and opportunity that you have in your life. Like the best mentors are the ones that will tell you the truth. The best mentors are the ones that will honor you for who you are, but push and challenge you to do and be more, right? And so you have to be really careful. I've always had the gift of leadership. It's always been, I've always been able to bring people together. I've always had a gift of leadership. I've always had a gift of words and gab, but I used to have terrible character. And so people followed me. And the people that followed me, I was their mentor. And I was a terrible mentor. I was awful. I'd end up getting them landed in a jail cell just right alongside me or whatever, right? I got as many people into trouble back then as now I'm trying to get people out of, right? And so it's really incredibly important. Just because somebody's a leader, just because somebody can talk a certain way or make you feel a certain way doesn't mean they're necessarily the path that you should be on or the person that you should be following. So getting a mentor or a coach that will tell you the truth, show you who you are, love you for who you are, and at the same time push you to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Someone with character, someone with integrity, someone who's walking and living in a life that you would want to trade places with. Those are the types of people that we want to put in our space so that they can give us perspectives and help us see the things that we can't see.
I love it. Well, I'll say this because it's been right now a full year. And I would say we have truly seen a huge transformation. Well, put it this way, you challenge us. So we've all changed. I know that for sure. I was like, let me just say this, and I don't mind letting everybody know. If I was in a deep conversation or in a deep relationship, I probably wouldn't even be in a relationship anymore, because he would be like, oh my God, stop saying Glenn name. Please just say, I'm so serious. It's like Glenn in the morning. I'm so serious. And this is so true. I want you to know how much you mean not only to my voice, but also all of our tribes. And I say that because when I look at the sea of people that you have cultivated, over 162,000 members right there within the Breakfast with Champions on the amazing Clubhouse app. But that's just a smidget of the people that you have impacted. But your voice have been that life moving and that life changing momentum for us, right? And when you would say, of course, Triple J will say, get up out the bed. It's like, okay, I'm up. And literally, we have to get up out the bed, because at first I used to listen to you laying in the bed. And I'll tell you also, I was inspired when we started doing the 75 hard. That really got me going. And I
Right.
would see Joy, and she's outside running. I'm like, wait, if she could run in the dark, I know I could run in the dark as well. So I
Right.
just want to say thank you for moving us to our greatness. Thank you for stretching us, because we probably would not have been able to take that leap of faith if we didn't really have those accountability partners, right? And you are indeed just that. That's why I said you got a huge anointing over you. Now, I know you balance so well. Well, we wouldn't say balance, right, Jeff? It's more harmony, because you have harmony of being a father, being, a leader over your entire automotive I guess what company, is alongside with what we do with the Breakfast with Champions. How has that been? Because, we always know we got to have some kind of sacrifice, right? How has the sacrifice been for you, Glenn?
Well, I think, there's always areas that I could be better. That's for sure. Right. And one day at a time, I do everything in my power to make sure that my moments and my minutes are invested in the right spaces, right? The spaces that are going to continue to um, move me towards my potential. And so I used to try to find balance, Renee. I used to think, okay, well, I gotta spend this much time with my family. I gotta spend this much time with the business. I gotta do all these things. I try to balance those things out. And I realized something that really made a difference for me. I realized that in conversation, myself and others around me, I would hear them say, I'm going to invest in my business. I'm going to invest in a stock. I'm going to invest in my 401k. I'm going to whatever, right? I'd hear this word invest. And every time they'd use the word invest, the expectation was they were going to get an ROI on that investment. I'm going to invest in some Facebook ads. I'm going to invest in whatever. But the intention was invest and get an ROI. They always wanted an ROI. Then I'd hear those same people say, I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to spend time on vacation. I'm going to spend time at church. I'm going to spend time, whatever it was, right? Well, spend is a completely different word than invest. The word spend is a negative. If you spend $5 out of your account will have $5 less. If you invest $5 out of your account, you expect to get the $5 plus more. You want an ROI. So once I realized that, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me make sure I understand this. If I invest with an intention of an ROI, it's a whole different energy. So I started looking at each of my kids. I started looking at my wife. I started looking at my business. I started looking at things like Clubhouse and looking at media. I started looking at all of those things and said, okay, so am I making sure that every minute is an investment with an ROI expectation? And a lot of things weren't. A lot of times I was just spending time doing something, right? And so I had to shift that. I say, okay, so I invest time with my wife. I don't spend time with my wife. I invest time with my wife. And what I mean by that is, I mean, I'm in it to get an ROI. I want her to laugh. I want her to smile. I want her to think I'm the greatest thing that ever walked the face of the planet. I want her to be my biggest cheerleader. Like, I want to get an ROI. So I invest time with my wife. Now, sometimes investing time with my wife looks like watching Everybody Loves Raymond while we're laying in bed together, or watching Seinfeld because that's her show, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Investment looks different. I'm just going to make sure I get an ROI. So I invest time with my wife. I invest time with my children. And each of my children require a different level of investment in order to get an ROI. My daughter, Willow, invest 5 minutes. Look at her straight in the eye. Talk to her for 5 minutes, and she will feel seen, heard, and significant. She will love you to the moon. However, she don't need you anymore. After 5 minutes, she's done. She's on to the next thing. You have bored her. You are old news. That's how she rolls. She's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. My son, however, requires a different level of investment. My son likes to fish. He likes to farm. He likes to work hard out on the field, practicing soccer, right? So to get an ROI from my son, I got to go fishing with him, even if I don't like to fish, and I got to sit still, even though I don't like to sit still, right? I got to go out on the soccer field and practice with him at soccer, even though I ain't never played soccer in my entire life, right? But the investment of time gets me a return. Same thing with my business. You know, the time that I spend the time that I invest in my business is with the expectation of an ROI. Some days that looks like a couple hours a day. Other days, it looks like 18 hours a day. It depends on what the project is that we are investing in and how quick we can get that return. So, Renee, long answer, change your verbiage, not you specifically, but the listener, change your verbiage, change your mindset. Stop spending time on things that you're not getting an ROI, and instead invest every minute and every moment that you're blessed to be above ground with an expectation of getting an ROI, and you'll find that you have all the time you need to do all of the things that matter.
Glenn.
Amazing response. Amazing response. I know Jeff would love to pour into you as well. Jeff, please take it away.
Thank you. So, Glenn, 1977. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that year or not, but it was a very significant year. There were some firsts. It was my first duty station as a soldier. It was somebody else's first duty station as a human and a leader. Now, the question that I have for you, Glenn, from December 1977, can you tell us, how does one go from being homeless, declaring that they are worthless, and failing at a suicidal attempt? How do you go from that to 2017, in the beginning, an inspirational way to start your day, to hashtag rise and grind, and now GM3X, motivating, inspiring, and educating others to 800% their life and their dreams? Glenn, please tell us, how do you do it?
Short answer, invest time in discovering who you are and whose you are. At the time of that, I was homeless and in that state, depressed and hopeless and all of those things. I had a very Darwinistic approach on life, and it was very simple. I had a very simple life back then. If it looked good and it felt good, the answer was yes. That's how I rolled, right? Oh, you want to go do some drugs? I don't know. Looks good, feels good. Answers yes. Sleeping with random women looks good, feels good. Answers yes. Stealing from this person, man, looks good, feels good. Answers yes. Casinos and all the things, right? Looks good, feels good. Answers yes. And I know where that path ended me. It ended me, in homeless and in that spot. So through a journey of self-discovery, trying to really understand who I am and whose I am, I learned that there's a third element, right? We are mind, body, and spirit, not just mind and body. Looks good, feels good, answers yes, but mind, body, spirit looks good, feels good, and is good. The answer is yes. So that shift for me from a 2-dimensional life to a 3-dimensional life has continued to send me on a journey of discovery, trying to understand whose I am and who I am. And here's what's interesting, Jeff. I used to think that we had to learn new things, connect with new people, open new gates, so on and so forth. Like we had to become someone different in order to reach levels of success. That's what I used to believe. And what I've learned as I've been on this journey of discovering whose I am and who I am, it's not a matter of becoming something you're not. It's a matter of remembering who you are. And when you start to remember who you are, right? You're like, oh, wow, child of God, that's who I am, right? I was literally born with the same 10 fingers and 10 toes that I'll have my entire life. I was born with the same 2 arms and the same 2 legs. I was born with the same brain and the same mind, the same heart that pumps in my chest. All of that was there from day one. Everything that you need to reach whatever levels you can possibly dream was with you from the moment you were divinely created. And that for me, Jeff, was a tremendous weight off of my shoulder because I really thought I had to become somebody I wasn't in order to do the things I thought I wanted to do. But the reality is, as we get more in tune with who we are, whose we are, then we can really step into Rise and Grind, In the Beginning, GM3X. All of these shows are just, they're extensions of who I've discovered that I am, right? I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact in your life. It did for me and it does for others. I believe if we rise every single day with intention and purpose and evolve into the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be, so that we can go out and make an impact in the world. And if we could do it together, that's me, man. I bring people together. I have my whole life. I inspire, I motivate. I love to rise and grind. So now that I am exploring those things and allowing other people to share in those experiences of who I am and whose I am, it's led to where we are today versus where I was 15 years ago.
Glenn, that is so insightful. And there's a mindset that if we answer the question of why, then we can answer the question what. But I like the fact that you brought in, which is my way of thinking, is to answer the question who first. Whose are we? And then who are we? And when we can move from that, then we can answer the why, and then we can move to the what. But speaking of the who, Glenn, in a lot of your interviews, when it comes down to the closing, you take your guest to the top of a mountain and you ask them a question. Well, I'm not going to ask you that question, Glenn. I have another question for you. So understanding the who Glenn Lundy is and the whose Glenn Lundy is, I want you to think for a moment. Boys seek the love and affection of their fathers. Unfortunately, not every son receives it. Glenn, I'd like you to travel in time. And your sons, Joel and Fisher, are sitting facing an empty chair. Their dad has moved to the next dimension and is now a resident of their hearts and their memories. Glenn, what does their conversation with you sound like?
What does their conversation sound like when they're talking about me that's now gone? Am I understanding the question?
Yes. Who will they say their dad is?
I believe that conversation will be one of where they will have joy in their hearts. It'll be a conversation that they'll have with smiles on their face. And I believe that they will share the memories of the times that their dad helped them to experience the best versions of themselves. I believe that they'll have conversations and say, what I loved most about dad is he always pushed me to be the best version of me that I could be. And what I love about my dad is he never tried to make me be anything that I wasn't. My hope, as I tear up right now in the moment, is that that will be what they take away, because they too, I believe, are children of God. They have a divine seed that is planted in them. And my hope is that as we fertilize and nurture that seed, that we don't do anything to throw them off course from the divine plan that God had for them and the intention he had for them, as he gave us the opportunity to be their guide for a short period of time and release them out into the universe so they can make an impact.
Glenn, as a father that is moving, and if Renee let me ask one more question, I absolutely believe that they will not only answer that, but even more, because of the amount of time that you invest into the millions of people who you have changed. We know that's a fraction of what gets invested into them. Glenn, you have absolutely changed the way that people all over the universe start their day, especially with the morning five. The question I want to ask, being one who worked many years as a shift worker, Glenn, what about the folks who are asleep because they're working in the evening? What are you going to do about the shift workers that are up in the morning, Glenn?
Yeah, so the morning five, if you notice in the so I have a free ebook, anybody can download it at themorning5.com. And what you'll notice in that book is there's no times. It doesn't tell you what time to wake up. It just talks about what you do in that first hour when you wake up. So you can look at successful people, right? All people that have reached massive levels of success, they have some sort of powerful morning routine. Now I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. They have some sort of powerful routine they go through when they wake up, right? So like Beyonce might be up doing her thing all night long. She ain't waking up until 2 in the afternoon. But when she gets up at 2 in the afternoon, she's going to go through the same sequence, the same process. And no matter where she is in the world, she's going to go through the same sequence and the same process. And so that's the key. I don't care what time you work. I don't care what time you wake up or what time you go in or any of those things. It's just an understanding that scientifically our brain is firing on all cylinders. It is most aware in that first hour of the day. And what we consume in that first hour ultimately can shift and determine the direction and the trajectory of not just our day, but our lives. And so the morning five is crucial to putting up barriers and building a solid foundation for you to go out into the world as a warrior, protected with your shield and your sword, to be able to go out there and make the impact that you imagine, that you dream, that you feel ultimately in your core. So you shift workers out there, no excuses. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if that's when you're getting up, 4 to 5 needs to be your time to serve self so that you can ultimately serve others.
Glenn, in the event nobody took the time to tell you today, brother, seeing you face to face, man to man, having worked in the automobile industry and being a legend myself, I want to tell you that I absolutely love you. I will say unapologetically that you literally changed the way that I start my day, and eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, nor has it entered your imagination what God has in store for you beyond 800%
Hey.
at X. I'm going to pass the mic back to the woman, the beautiful one herself, because I'm a preacher and I could talk to you, chopping it up all day, Glenn. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We love you, Glenn. Back to you,
Thank you,
Renee.
bro.
Absolutely. Well, Glenn, we're so grateful for your time. We're grateful for everything that you do for us. But most importantly, the fact that you're using your personality. You use your personality to not only to push forward, your tragedy, but you found your purpose and your passion as well. And as we look at you over your life, enjoy seeing you on your roller skates as you're doing your sales meeting. And we're going to have to do that one day also. And as you strut your strut on that runway wearing those fur coats in the fashion show, okay? As well as you just constantly keep lighting up the souls of humanity wherever you go. We will plan a trip for you to get over to Africa because we already claimed Dubai. However, we'll see each other August 19th for the Power to Soar Leadership Conference, because you know why, my friend? You are so deserving of this award that you're going to receive, because your accomplishments is just truly remarkable. And I'm a true firm believer. Let's pay it forward. Let's give you your flowers while you're here. You've impacted our lives and everyone looking forward to elevating you. So thank you, Glenn Lundy, for your time, not only for your leadership, but also for your love, for just you loving yourself, but also being able to love others unselfishly. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. You're super, super kind. And yes, I am excited to spend some time with you all down in Atlanta. I do need to get to Africa one day. That's got to happen. And Dubai being on the list, I love that too. So thank you, Renee, Jeff. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Is there any words of wisdom that you like to close out this segment, Glenn? Because we truly appreciate you in every way.
You know, I just think that, for everyone that's listening, if you're hearing this, right now, whatever situation that you may be going through, whatever struggles you might be dealing with, or maybe you're in a season of harvest right now where you're winning, you're absolutely crushing it, you're absolutely killing it. I just want to remind you and everyone else that everything in life is seasonal. What is here today has come to pass. Good, bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. It will all rotate through, right? What comes after fall? Winter. How often does winter come after fall? Every single year, right? And so we will all go through these seasons of change, seasons of struggle, seasons of growth, and seasons of success. So whatever your season you're in, make sure that you're always aware that there's a new season that is going to be ahead of you. Make sure you're prepared for that. Also, make sure that you are grateful and present in the season that you're in, and let go of the seasons that are behind you. They're gone forever, only to be remembered, so that we can learn from them and make sure the next winter isn't as rough. So thanks for spending some time with me today. I appreciate you all.
We do appreciate you as well. And guys, there you have it. The man himself, Mr. Glenn Lundy. Not only we are grateful for your honor of being here, a part of this journey, but we're looking forward to many more successes for you, because you already know on your list, you still have that interview. Once Will Smith get it together,
That's
I'm
right.
already claiming that one, okay? You'll be the one that's going to interview him already, okay? And so many more. We have to make sure we go and save those orphans right there with Richard in Africa. And like I share with you, you have so much more ahead of you. And we're going to be right there enjoying the journey alongside you. So thank you, Glenn Lundy.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Glenn. And as you put in your afterwards, people always know what they're supposed to do in their lives. They just choose not to do it. Napoleon Hill. We love you, brother.
Love you guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. So there you have it, the amazing interview with the man himself, Mr. Glenn Lundy. Oh my goodness, Jeff. What we're going to do, we're going to definitely make sure we close out this segment, but we're going to close out this segment a little bit more special. Glenn Lundy has such an important message that not only he wrote for his wife, but it was more or less, it's something of a dedication for humanity. Wouldn't you agree, Pastor Jeff?
Absolutely. I was touched and brought to tears as I experienced it. And I think men can learn something I know men can learn something from Glenn outside of what he teaches in the automotive industry. So, Renee, let's share it with the other men.
Let's share with the other men. What we'll do, we'll post up the picture with the amazing Glenn Lundy, and then we'll have this piece, the audio being played. So therefore, we can close out this segment with the man himself, Glenn Lundy, not only the host of the Breakfast with Champions, the host also with Rise and Grind, the father of 8. That's right, 8
And the
children.
husband of one.
The husband of one, all right? But also, my goodness, the leader of humanity, of millions and millions everywhere. So again, we'll close out this segment with the picture with Mr. Glenn Lundy and then the powerful audio. Take it away.
Man, understand? The day begins, alarm clock sounds, my wife of course, she's sleeping sound. I stretch my arms, my eyes they squint, then comes the message, from God it's sent. It's time that I rise, so tall that I stand. It's time for me to be a man. The hours you see, there are so few. Each moment is precious and a debt it is due. I owe my life to my Father above. He expects me to shower this whole world with love. I am a man. Understand? As a man, I have duties. This can't be ignored. My children need playtime, a sin if they're bored. My wife, she needs kindness, and her hand must be held. She needs laughter and kisses, and her praises be yelled. I am a man. Understand? My co-workers need structure, a leader who's bold. They would rather be taught than to follow by scold. My dreams, they need action, or they'll never come true. And with God on my team, nothing exists I can't do. I am a man. Understand? I like cartoons and Xbox and movies and cars. I like Snickers and pork chops and pictures of Mars. When football is on, my attention won't wander, and I can't even recall last clothes I did launder. I'm a man. Understand? But with all that being said, one thing remains true. I'd be nowhere in this life if I lived without you. God, you are my Savior with forgiveness and grace. You've transformed my life, there's no doubt that's the case. I stand before you today as the man you created, and I pledge in the end, Lord, you will be elated. I will love, I will prosper, I will lead as I follow. My children will laugh and my heart never hollow. My wife will be treated like a queen, that's a fact, and I will lead my co-workers with compassion and tact. My dreams will be chased with relentless desire, the whole time with purpose and intent to inspire. I am a man, understand? So now the sun's done, it sits in the west. I lay my head down, it's time I now rest. But before it's all over, to God I must say, thank you for creating the man I am today.